Heidi ho, this is Annabelle Drum, and I'm in Sydney, Australia.
And this is Jeffrey Carr, and I'm in Catskills in New York.
Cool. Okay. And we're doing a discussion today on the second chakra. Last week it was the root chakra. So we're working our way up. I've got my yellow jacket on, my orange jacket on, ready to match the second chakra. And you've kind of got a band there, haven't you, Jeffrey?
Well, I'm at the opposite of orange. Orange, the opposite of orange is greenish and blue. So, but anyhow, there you are. I see you again. Yes, so let's, with the chakra system in the second chakra, the first chakra, third chakra, just to give people a little bit of recap here, there's, in the system that I present here, there's 13 chakras, major chakras, and 7 coming from our body, which is the root, the pelvic,
working its way up the spine.
Working its way up through the solar plex, the heart, the throat, third eye, and the crown out. But then the thing with our heart is that we have a high heart, and we have our left side and our right side, which is our masculine and feminine inside of us, which these create the main chakras. The heart chakra is the high heart, which we all should tune into before we even venture down into the sexual chakra or the second chakra, and really to any of the chakras, is that we first should come into our heart at all times. And the center that, so that we pull forth the information that we need in love and creation, and to be able to express ourselves, but expressing ourselves through love and understanding, and allowing all that our energies flow, especially when we're going into the lower chakras, when we need to basically walk through our heart first.
Okay, so last week when we were talking about the root chakra, we did the same thing, didn't we? We started at the heart when we were doing the exercise of tuning into taking the energy down through the chakras into the earth, that it started at the heart and then worked its way. We just visualized it as you breathe out to go down from the heart, down through the base chakra into the ground. Is that right?
Right. I mean, everything comes from the heart. Basically, we're all hearts created from the cosmic mother. Before you even take embodiment into any embodiment, we're hearts that travel through the universe as beacons of love, of creation. And that's what, our divine human purpose is, that we're aspects of the creator that take embodiment on different planets and different worlds. We've taken embodiment on this world here, and we've taken on a heavier, denser body. But in reality, we're all just hearts going out to experience. And by us experiencing everything, by what we experience each individually, feeds back into the whole of creation. And therefore, creation is never ending. It's always re-experiencing itself through the eyes of its creations. And we are its creation. And why we come to our heart again, because like when we go down into, especially the second chakra, it's all about our sexuality and our creation and our masculine and feminine. And we can go there in two ways. We can go there in control and dominance, or we can go there in love and acceptance of our self-sovereignty and our love and our dignity, and giving that dignity and self-respect back to everybody else that's around us.
And it's an interesting area, because we spend so long through our lives, even when we're little kids, we're told to keep away from that area because it's either dirty or it's not acceptable, and so we don't, you feel bad about heading down there and checking it out. So last week we were talking about blocking, that if you get a block within one of the chakras, it stops the flow moving up and down. So what sort of problems can you get if the second chakra is blocked?
Well, if the second chakra is blocked, which is, it leads to, it goes back into a lot of the control and domination. It lets us not have the free flow of sexual energy. Like sexual energy or slash kundalini, which people refer to as kundalini a lot, is a force that comes from the ground. I mean, most teachings say that kundalini comes from the base of a spine, which is another reason why we open up our spine. But it really doesn't come from our bodies or our spine. It comes from Gaia. It's the energy from Gaia coming back up through our feet. Because we've taken all the energy from the universe, from our heart and everything, and it goes into the earth. But that's part of the three part of us, the three aspects of us. We have earth, we have our I am presence, and we have the universe around us.
Yeah, yeah. I think Kundalini is probably worth a whole totally different discussion once we finish with the chakras. So if we, do you think?
It's the second chakra, though. I mean, this is what we're talking about. It's the reason why we're bringing this energy back up through our bodies in order for the chakras even to work is the fact of Kundalini. It's the fact of this energy that's coming back up from Gaia. It's coming into our body. The second chakra, the first chakra and the second chakra is these major connections to the earth. So again, the second chakra is all about being grounded here onto earth. But if we don't feel the energies of earth and we don't allow them to come through our body, then the chakras never open up. They're just stagnant. Or we have sex and stuff, but nothing has any feeling to us.
Yeah, it's just like a physical act, isn't it?
It's just a physical act, or it's like, who's ever doing it? Like, do you feel good with this person doing it? So, there's a lot of things of like, you can be a woman or a man and feel really good with creation and walk out there and feel really loved and give out loving vibrations. Or it's about how you're going to, conquer it, predatory vibration.
That's the domination, isn't it?
The domination. So it's very much, the second chakra is very much connected to our relationship with earth and to our bodies. It's also the chakra that, like when we're at the first chakra, it's just the base point. Like I said, it comes through the anus, the tip of the spine, and it's one point. Now we're splitting up.
So this is a little vague to me, because when you look at where, I mean, I can understand sort of vertical levels going up the chakras, but when you look where the second chakra is, you explained very specifically as to where it was within the triangle on for the root chakra last week. But for second chakra, is it forward where the genitals is, or back towards the spine, or is it just like a big level? I mean, I've had it described as a disc of light. So how do we picture this? What is it?
You have to understand the chakras are the energy source of it. So in one sense, imagine like we have 7 balls all stacked upon each other.
Okay.
The first chakra is the first ball. The second chakra is the second ball. It's orange in color. But the balls of energy. But the actual point, though, of that chakra would be right at the middle of the pubic bone. So for women,
so it's right at the front instead of at the back this time.
It's the front. See, this is what makes this happen now, because this is right at the front of the pubic, which is around the clitoris, and for men, it's just that little notch in their pubic right there. But it's very, very powerful. But that makes the 4 points now, because we have. And
it's not a finite shape or size anyway, is it? It kind of radiates out, so you got to have a central point. But yeah, it does. There's not really any limitation as to where it reaches.
Because the energy goes through our whole body, but on the body, if you push that point in the cusp of in the part of the triangle of the pubic bone there, that you can feel right in that notch. But then that notch, and it's almost like if you could take your hand, which my hand's about that big. So from that notch up to the next notch would be right about where our solar plexus chakra is, and then if you take that next one. It comes almost up. So each person is going to be fitted to themselves by their own hand, like an 8 to 9 inch spread.
Yeah.
So just the points on the bony structure that kind of bring us into that.
Okay. All right. So we've talked a little bit about the blocking then as to, do you think that there seems to be so many problems around the reproduction area, whether that has something to do with energy? mean, of course, there are plenty of other reasons as to why as well. But if that second chakra is blocked, is it possible that that could cause problems around the reproductive system?
Well, it can cause problems. Yeah, I mean, major. I mean, that would probably be most people's problems around. Yeah. And we have to get back into that. We have to break a lot of misbeliefs about our sexuality and about.
That's what I mean. There's a whole new discussion there, isn't there, on sexuality and
things.
Yeah,
so it's just the second chakra. You know, the controlling things is the testicles in the male and the ovaries in the female. And like I say, it's the beginning of where we're starting the duality in our bodies, or understanding that there's polarity, there's a masculine and there's a feminine. You know, and the second chakra is all about that. It's also about our creation. It's about like artists and musicians, and we all draw from the second chakra.
Yeah, and I've heard, so the creative energy and sexual energy are very similar. So if you get an artist that is doing extremely well, maybe they're a painter or they're into rock music or whatever, that if they're doing extremely well and the creativity is flowing, they end up really sexy to everybody else because of that energy flowing from that area, right?
Right, but then it's if you only flow from your sexual chakras and you don't add any heart to it or any head to it, it becomes one way. It doesn't really mean it's bad or not. But because our race it's been really denied our sexuality in the true essence of sensuality and not in pornography or this other crap. It's really put a lot of blocks on a lot of people. A lot of people who do yoga and practice Eastern philosophies and stuff, you know, the second chakra has been taboo, you know, celibacy, you know, all these things.
Yeah. Or even, you know, just so society's thing that you're just not allowed to use it too often. Or use it with more than one partner, and which is just not natural. It's not how we are as little children. We're taught that later on, that you're not allowed to share your love around.
Well, you're not allowed to share love. You're not allowed to share your love around. You're not allowed to touch yourself. Even you're not allowed to really enjoy making love with yourself. I mean, that's self-love is very important, and it's very important on this process of opening up your chakras, because if you can't love yourself without shame, blame, and guilt, and touch yourself and allow the energies to flow through you, you're blocked.
You are. Right? Yeah.
Blocked. And if you're blocked, then the energy can't flow. You know, and the energy should flow. It should flow up our bodies and back down our bodies.
So if that area is really flowing really well, then how does that change what happens to us now? I mean, there's so many different ways I could ask that, whether it's physical or emotional, or, you know, what are the main things if that's flowing well?
An ultimate extreme story of someone who's not blocked
would
be a goddess woman who's standing there, or a man, but it's just like a woman's more of creation, because things, you know, they have babies and creation comes out of the feminine more in the sense. She'd be standing there and creation would be just pouring off of her. Things would just be flowers and plants, and creation would just be bubbling out of her. The room would just be open, and she wouldn't have any problems. She would have never been told that she couldn't just create.
Right.
And she couldn't just be a being that was, you know, impregnated by life and giving forth this life in a clear, clean, sensual manner. And to do that, right now as a race, we have to like basically take all this pain and control and dominance and suppression and just transmute it all inside of each one of us individually. And as we do that, we can do it for the whole race. We need to, because it's been a way to control us. You control our sexuality. Our sexuality is basically the fluid that keeps us alive and young and creative. And that all goes back to this chakra. So we as human beings, our potential is to create, and to create like almost instantaneously.
Yeah.
It all comes from this being able to pull these energies up from the earth and pull them in a balanced manner, because all of us are really masculine and feminine. So in reality, we all share the same qualities of creation. Like, you know, a man too stands there, and a true man who's centered in love will spring forth this power of creation.
Yeah. And I hear that as evolved beings, we're going to be able to do that anyway. Though I think the idea is that we are sort of held back from doing that until we can learn to, probably like Buddhist monks, where they get to learn the discipline of mind. Because if you kind of, you know, you're waiting at the bus stop and you go, gosh, wouldn't it be terrible if something came flying around the corner and hit me? That if it's possible to do an instant creation, that's what you would create. So learning to discipline the mind to keep away from all the fears and anger and flinching and, you know, the tiniest thing. We have to learn to do that in full discipline before we are allowed to create instantly. And we also have, of course, the framework of time, that there's good reason for that as well, to slowly bring it in. It's not always about alchemy of being able to instantly bring it about, but sometimes things do take time, and you can't force that to change how long that will take.
Well, see, this is why, too, I'm centered in heart first before I go anywhere else, because if we center ourselves in heart and love, which is more of, you know, cooperation and allowing things to be, and it is the same for our bodies. But if we're centered in love, then there's no karma of love. Love's karma is love. If I'm doing good actions, if I'm doing self-exploration, but I'm centered in love, then that's what I'm getting back.
That's what you attract in as well.
That's attract in. If I'm having a healthy sexual relationship, a healthy sexual relationship with another partner on a consensual basis, and we're both allowing ourselves to feel love and to accept each other's love, that's what we're creating. Yeah. But to even get to that point, to have a real relationship with each other, we need to balance back up our lower chakras with our heart, and not to be like fearful. And you know, our parents, it's a lot of like a mother-father issues come up with our sexuality. There's just been so much negativity placed upon our sexuality in this planet that we really need to like grab it back and bring it back into a state of balance, coming back into being...
But based on love, right? So if you've got... Because it's basically sex and power and love. Sex, power and money isn't it basically? That's all around that chakra. And if you attach love to that, then you get a totally different effect compared to how you could use each of those as a weapon.
Yeah, because love is with acceptance. I mean, there's a lot of things. With love, it's acceptance. With love, there's no control. It's no one. I don't own you. Ownership leads.
But we get that so much, though, right? In society, it's all about possession of a partner, that they're obliged to, you know, do certain things or not do certain things because you have to be loyal to one.
Right. So this chakra has been so blocked by some religious and society things because it goes back to the Kundalini again. We're rising the Kundalini in our body. So if they block the second gate coming up, you know, they block the first gate. So this is why most people don't even tune into what we're talking about, because, you know, they don't even aware that these exist in this form of communication. Like our body's communicating with the universe is communicating with us, we're communicating with the earth.
Yeah.
I'm walking down the street, I'm communicating with you. It's all from our, you know, or it's all from our like kinesthetic feeling. It's all from our nervous system, our parasympathetic nerves that go out, we touch and communicate. And all that is amplified or decreased by our ability to allow our sexual energy to flow through us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I don't know.
So if we were going to unblock, let's imagine that many people, Geordie here, he says that his chakra's wide open. Yay, Geordie. Woo! That's fantastic. But if most of the people that are watching this video later on find that their chakra does feel blocked around the sexual energy around that second chakra. What sort of things can we do?
Well,
We did talk about a sort of exercises that we can look at last week around the root chakra. What about this one? What do you suggest?
Well, the best thing that people can do is they have to practice a lot of like self-acceptance. And they gotta accept themselves a lot. They have to accept themselves. You know, we're either male or female, or we're androgynous, where we think that we're both male or female, or we have to come to grips with being okay with ourselves and our bodies. And at this moment, you know, like massaging yourself and touching yourself, breathing down in the area. But just to go and be able to comfortably touch yourself and to feel good.
And that's okay. Yeah, that's it. That is okay to do so. But it comes to touching all parts of you, really, isn't it? That you end up accepting and loving all parts. Yeah.
Yeah, we should accept and love all parts of us. It's like back into the heart, and then we have, you know, it's like, yeah, every part of our body is sensual. So again, it's like we want to return back to our sensuality. So an open, clean second chakra, and like we're just talking about one of the chakras. They all work together. It's
yeah. Like they're all connected, aren't they?
They're all connected. Our head very much controls the sexuality. So that's why most people are in their heads. And then so if you're in your head only and then you try to go to sexuality, then you're mostly under control and dominating. Or this is my head, it should be this way, it should be that way, men should be that, women should be that. You know, you're going to have my babies, so I'm going to control you. And or women, you know, the same way. Manipulate you, I'm going to manipulate you to do this. I'm going to, you know, and women are, you know, because they haven't been strong, so they're masters at manipulation, and men can be masters at domination. But, you know, it's the whole game, and all
so
this.
Removing the head out of it. That's important for meditation anyway, isn't it? To take the head out of it. And I was thinking that even with, I've been looking at creativity and how that comes about through intuition, and how to really get a flow of creativity no matter what you're doing, whether you are painting, making music, or writing, or whatever you need to create, that sometimes the very best stuff comes about when you turn the brain off and stop trying to figure it out. And then I kind of likened it to the point of orgasm anyway. You cannot get to that point unless you turn the brain off, right? You can't, it just, well, maybe you can, I don't know, but it's just not as satisfying. You've got to at some point let go and surrender and allow it all to happen. And if you do that in terms of creativity as well, just letting everything flow and turn off the brain, that you get a very different result and not such an analytical result.
Right, we're coming back into heart and we're feeling the body, and the body is sensual. The body is very sensual when you start to allow it to feel. When we don't shut the body down, it's very sensual. Everything is sensual. It's like, and that's the way we, like, you're right. It's like when we think about it in our head, then we're thinking about sexuality in a certain way. We're thinking about that.
Judging it, right? And limiting it, yeah.
When we let go, we let the flow happen, and the body feels everything. Every little hair becomes sensuous. Every part of our body becomes sensuous because we're allowing the energy to flow through us.
Hey, that was something else I was thinking of too, was how females remove a lot of the hair around their pubic area, and yet it's actually really sensual to touch hair instead of actual skin. And so, you know, those who remove all their hair, they kind of miss out on all that extra sensory experience.
Right, because because in the it's all about.
Sorry, Jeffrey, I'm getting a bit too much information about the quiet.
The hairs are extensions that tie us into the earth. I mean, they say the same thing for there's a story about like Native Americans who were great trackers. So we hired them, the military brought them in to do tracking, but they cut their hair off of them, and all of a sudden they lost their connection to the earth, and they couldn't figure out why these guys who they were hiring because they were so connected to the earth, they cut their hair off because that's what military people do, and they realized that they lost their connect. They couldn't track. They were just like everybody else, but because
wow, it's like Samson and Delilah.
Yeah, so the hair is very connected to Earth. All of our hair, every part of the hair is on our body, our pubic hair. So it's all about that. I mean, when you get to vibrations, and if we were in a more natural state, we didn't have clothes stuck on us all the time and everything else, we'd feel all
You'd
that.
pick up everything, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Everything would be just so sensual. We'd be just like walking around, the wind would blow and move our hair, and we'd feel this joy again about being alive, about just feeling good. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, to me, when we're talking about this, I see this joyous, like beautiful male and female walking through a garden. It's like really,
it's Adam and Eve kind of stuff, isn't it?
But you're just feeling really free with nature and their bodies and stuff. And it's such a far distance from what I see around me with people or people that I meet and stuff that are so shut down and broken because of this manipulation and domination and stuff. And I think the religions have really probably hurt us the most by making our bodies not be sacred. This is our temple. Our temple is, there's nothing dirty or disgusting about our body. It's part of creation. It's part of Earth. And it's a beautiful thing. Everything is beautiful about our body. You know, it goes into, it's basically like our legs come out of our growings. I mean, it's like everything comes out of there. It's a basis for us to be walking upon this earth. And
that's it.
To purify it is the process. To come back into our hearts, to come back into, get rid of the victim. You know, we have a lot of victim consciousness. A lot of people have been hurt.
Yeah, the victim thing often also allows you to remove responsibility from yourself if you've got somebody else to blame as well. And it's complicated, you know, because so many things you think, oh my God, how on earth, that's no way that I created that. But to remove that victimhood, again, that's a whole new discussion that we could talk about. We've got a bit of an audience here. Do you guys have any questions for Jeffrey? If you want to, you can just type it in and we can talk about it if you like. Tell me if you want to know anything. No new questions at the moment?
Is Jordy the one who's with us?
And Hader? Hader Ali. Okay, so it doesn't look like any questions. So if there's anything else, we can kind of round up how we finish talking about it.
I'm going to talk with what Jody said. My second chakra is wide open and stuff, and all these things. It's good. So now, what the next part of this is like, why do we open this up? Why do we get the Kundalini rising? Because we take it all the way up to our body. The first chakra is open. The second chakra is open. Then we have a good thing about it. We pull up this sexual energy from our things and we bring it into our heart, and then we're pulling this all up and we bring it. But it's all healing energy too. The sexual energy, the Kundalini, is life rejuvenating to our bodies. When we really allow it to flow up through our spine and it comes through our groins and it comes up through our body, and then like when you get it at the moment of like with yourself or a partner and you're going for like a sexual orgasm, you pull it all the way up to your body. This is the ancient practice of it all, because now we're sparking all this life and creation energy and we're bringing it back into our bodies and we're pulling it all the way up. But it rejuvenizes us. It sense, you know, it's like
it makes you younger.
This is like where you're having a real orgasm. It does. It makes you a lot younger, and it keeps if the juices are flowing, you stay young and moist. If the juices dry up, then you become old and withered.
Now that's even Chinese medicine, isn't it? Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and so again, it's like if you're just having sex and you're just like using your lower chakras, but you're not having any intention about it, it's going to be a pretty flat and boring experience most of the time.
And I wonder how many really are doing just going through the motions. You know, it's there's so much more that could be done there. But as I said, we'll keep that for a whole separate discussion because there is so much more to talk about in that way.
Right. So basically, really, that's why I say we have to come to the heart first in all these things. And if you come to the heart, if we live by love, then we're pretty much free to do anything that we want in the universe. And we don't have to ask permission. I don't have to ask permission to touch my body or to do any of these things. This is my free will. And if I'm acting in love, therefore the universe will respond to me in love. And to be curious and to be able to be free about our bodies, our sexuality, feeling good with the gender that we're in, is part of this process. I mean, the more freer we feel and have no blocks, the happier people that we will be, that's for sure.
That's it. Okay, that sounds like a good wrap up for this one. It's been a good discussion today. So this time next week, we'll do third chakra as well.
We'll do third chakra, and it'll be about our digestive and digesting ourselves and how we...
There's plenty in that, isn't there? And actually, it just reminded me of Louise Hay's stuff as well, how each of these different areas can be affected by the emotional, the same process that happens in the emotional side of things. So if we're going to talk about digestion, then we, like you're saying, digesting ourselves and our own, getting through our own baggage and things. This is where that chakra is going to be helpful, isn't it?
That's exactly it. The three lower chakras are all about cleaning up and finding, your love with yourself and cleaning it up and feeling good in your body, feeling comfortable in your body.
That sounds good. Okay. Well, thank you for joining me today.
See
you same time next week. Bye.
All right, bye.